You know the scene. Your desk is crowded with tasks. Emails keep arriving. A meeting starts in 10 minutes. Your manager wants an update now. Pressure builds. Your mind scatters. Your breath shortens. You feel the weight of work pressing down. In moments like these, most people break. They lose focus. They react in anger. They drown in panic. But some do not. Some remain calm, as if untouched by the storm. They think clearly. They move with purpose. They do not bend to the weight of pressure. The difference is not luck. It is not talent. It is not even resilience as most people imagine it. The difference is philosophy. The philosophy of Stoicism. An ancient way of seeing the world. A way that taught Roman emperors how to lead in chaos. A way that guided generals, slaves, merchants, and statesmen. A way that, even now, can guide you at work. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Notice the shift. He does not tell us to control everything. He tells us to control the only thing we truly can. Our mind. Our response. Our choice in the face of chaos. Imagine this applied to your daily work. Deadlines do not vanish. Difficult co-workers do not disappear. Unexpected crises will still arrive. But your reaction changes. You no longer panic at every demand. You no longer collapse at every mistake. You stand calm, focused, unbreakable. This is not fantasy. It is practice. It is training. It is the application of Stoicism where you need it most. At work. Because the office is not just a place of tasks. It is a testing ground. Every interruption tests your patience. Every failure tests your clarity. Every success tests your humility. And most of all, pressure tests your strength. So here is the question. How do you become the one who does not break? How do you turn pressure into clarity? How do you remain calm, focused, and unshakable when the weight of the workplace bears down on you? That is the journey we will take together. Not with abstract ideas, not with empty motivation, but with principles proven over centuries. Principles that shaped minds stronger than armies. Principles that can shape yours. So, sit with me for a while. Leave the noise outside. This is not a lesson about surviving your job. It is about mastering yourself within it. Because pressure will come again tomorrow. The question is, when it comes, who will you be? Pressure at work is not new. People have always labored. Farmers feared failed harvests. Merchants worried about lost cargo. Soldiers faced life and death commands. But the nature of modern pressure is different. It is quieter, constant, invisible, yet relentless. In America today, the workplace has become a storm of hidden demands. Competition is fierce. Jobs are unstable. One mistake can feel like a career ending. One layoff announcement can send an entire office into panic. Technology has made this worse. Your phone never sleeps. Emails chase you into the night. Slack messages ping during dinner. Notifications blur the line between office and home. The result? There is no boundary. Work pressure never ends. You carry it in your pocket. You bring it into your bed. And then there are bosses. Some inspire, some suffocate. Toxic managers spread fear, not clarity. Their anger becomes your anxiety. Their chaos becomes your burden. It is not only leadership, it is culture, an environment that praises speed over wisdom, that values response time over real thought, that rewards busyness over depth. In such a place, pressure is constant. You are always on, always performing, always fearing the next demand. And so the modern worker breaks, not in one dramatic collapse, but slowly, through exhaustion, through sleepless nights, through silent burnout. Across America, Adults from 23 to 55 know this feeling well. The restless evenings, the racing heart at 3 a.m., the constant thought, I can't keep up. This is why stress has become the hidden epidemic. Not a visible illness, not a sudden strike, but a daily erosion of clarity and peace. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This line is more urgent today than ever, because outside events have multiplied. Layoffs, email overload, toxic bosses, office politics, demands you cannot control. If you anchor your peace to these, you will always lose. If you expect the workplace to calm down, you will wait forever. If you expect others to treat you kindly, you will be disappointed often. The problem is not the pressure itself. It is our belief that pressure must break us. It is our response to pressure that matters. Two workers can face the same crisis. One panics. One breathes. One curses the world. One reclaims the mind. The crisis was the same. The reactions were not. This is the Stoic lesson. Pressure itself is neutral. It does not carry meaning. It does not decide your state of mind. You do. Your mind is the filter. Your mind decides whether pressure becomes poison or training. Consider this. When a boss yells, their words are air and sound. When a deadline looms, it is just a date on a calendar. When an email arrives, it is text on a screen. None of these can truly wound you, until your mind interprets them as doom. It is the story you tell yourself that creates the weight. This mistake will ruin me. This job will destroy my health. This pressure means I am weak. But the Stoic rejects such stories. He sees pressure as material, like clay for the sculptor, like iron for the smith. Hard, demanding, but shaping strength. If you remember this, you see differently. Pressure no longer becomes an enemy. It becomes a teacher. So, pause for a moment. Look at your own life. The emails waiting for you. The projects hanging over you. The faces of those who frustrate you. What if you chose to see them not as chains, but as training weights? What if every pressure at work was a chance to exercise patience, clarity, and strength? The nature of pressure has changed. It is faster, louder, endless. But the nature of the mind has not. You still hold the same power Marcus Aurelius held. You cannot control events. You can control how you meet them. That is why some break and some endure. The pressure is the same. The difference is not the weight. The difference is the stance. And if you choose the Stoic stance, you find that pressure does not destroy you. It sharpens you. Calm under pressure. Calm is not an accident. Calm is not a gift. Calm is a discipline. It is trained. It is chosen. The Stoics knew this well. They lived in times of chaos, wars, exile, plague, political betrayal. Yet they spoke of peace as something always within reach. How? Through a simple framework. Through principles that cut through the noise. Principles that still hold true at work today. The first is the dichotomy of control. There are things within your control, and things beyond it. Confuse the two, and you suffer. Separate them, and you stand free. At work, this is crucial. You cannot control layoffs. You cannot control how a manager speaks. You cannot control the moods of colleagues. But you can control your effort. You can control your focus. You can control the way you respond. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some are not." It is the clearest rule, yet the hardest to follow, because our minds always reach outward. We want the office to be fair. We want the boss to be kind. We want the workload to be reasonable. But wanting what you cannot control is slavery. It binds you to disappointment. It chains your peace to the behavior of others. The Stoic cuts that chain. He says, "My work is mine. My discipline is mine. My mind is mine. Everything else is outside." The second practice is negative visualization. Imagine the worst that could happen. Not to depress yourself, but to free yourself. What if the deal collapses? What if the client leaves? What if the company downsizes? See it clearly. Accept it mentally. Then act calmly. When you imagine loss, you rob fear of its sting. You are not paralyzed by the "what if?" You are already prepared. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand." In the office, this means picture the project failing, picture the boss shouting, picture the email arriving with bad news. If it happens, you are steady. If it does not, you are grateful. Either way, you remain calm. The third practice is the pause before reacting. Pressure demands speed, but wisdom demands space. A colleague insults you. A manager criticizes harshly. An email stings. The normal mind reacts instantly. It fights back. It defends. It lashes out. The Stoic pauses. 3 seconds. 1 breath. A short space between event and response. That space is freedom. That pause is strength. Viktor Frankl, who survived the camps, echoed this Stoic truth. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Apply this at work. Do not answer the angry email in the same minute. Do not raise your voice in the meeting. Step back. Breathe. Choose your words. You will find that most battles dissolve in silence, and what is left can be handled with clarity. The fourth principle is the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius used this image. A fortress inside the mind. Walls no one else can breach. No boss can storm it. No gossip can shake it. No deadline can crack it. You carry this citadel everywhere. It is built through daily practice, through reflection, through self-discipline, through the choice to return, again and again, to what is in your control. At work, the inner citadel means you are never fully exposed. You can work hard without being owned by results. You can take criticism without letting it pierce your core. You can move in chaos without becoming chaotic. These 4 elements, control, visualization, pause, and citadel, are the Stoic framework for calm under pressure. They are not abstract. They are practical. They are tools to be used every day. When you sit at your desk, ask, what today is within my control? What is not? When fear rises, ask, what is the worst that can happen? Am I prepared to endure it? When anger sparks, remind yourself, pause, breathe, respond with reason, not reflex. When chaos surrounds you, retreat inward. Stand within the walls of your inner citadel. No one can break you there. Pressure will come again tomorrow. Emails will arrive. Deadlines will tighten. Voices will rise. But you need not be moved. Because calm is not passive. Calm is not fragile. Calm is active strength. Calm is trained clarity. Calm is Stoic power at work. Clarity amid chaos. Clarity is rare, especially at work. We drown not because of a lack of time, but because of a lack of focus. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." In the modern workplace, waste is everywhere. Emails arrive every minute. Slack pings without pause. Social media steals your attention in silent bites. Office gossip spreads faster than news. The result is distraction, not once in a while, but constant. Your attention is scattered before the day even begins. And without attention, there is no clarity. Without clarity, there is no focus. Without focus, your energy is consumed, yet nothing meaningful is built. This is the modern tragedy. We work longer hours. We answer more messages. We move faster than ever. And yet, at the end of the day, we feel empty. Busy, but not purposeful. Active, but not effective. The Stoics would call this a failure of judgment. Not because the world is noisy, but because we choose noise over silence. Because we mistake activity for progress. The Stoic path is different. It does not ask, "How much did you do today?" It asks, "Did you do what mattered most?" The lesson is simple. Focus on the essential. Cut away the rest. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Necessary. That word is the compass of focus. It clears the fog. It reveals the core. At work, the essential is often buried. You think it is in the flood of emails, in the constant updates, in the endless meetings, but the essential is smaller. It is the work that truly moves the mission forward, the task that aligns with your values, the action that, if done, makes other things less urgent. How do you find it? By practice, by discipline. The first practice is the morning routine. Begin your day not with screens, not with noise, but with clarity. Write down 3 things that matter most today. Not 30, not 13. 3. These are your essentials. Hold to them. Even if the day unravels, return to these 3. The second practice is blocking distractions. Do not check email every 5 minutes. Do not answer Slack the moment it blinks. Set windows of time. 30 minutes in the morning. 30 in the afternoon. Outside of that, stay with the work that matters. Your attention is currency. Spend it on what builds, not on what buzzes. The third practice is journaling for clarity. Not long essays. Just 5 minutes in the middle of the day. Write down what has consumed your mind, what matters, what does not. This resets your focus. It clears the clutter before it takes root. Seneca often spoke of reclaiming time. Journaling reclaims attention. It reminds you that most distractions are smoke. They vanish once you see them clearly. These practices are not complicated, but they are rare. Few people choose them because distraction is easier. It requires no discipline, no awareness. But distraction is a chain. It binds you to busyness. It keeps you from depth. It robs you of clarity. Focus, on the other hand, is armor. It shields your mind from the 1,000 cuts of noise. It protects your energy for what matters. It builds strength that others can lean on. In the modern office, focus is power. Not loud power, not the kind that shouts or demands, but quiet power. The power of clarity in a sea of chaos. Think of the co-worker who, in the middle of a storm, stays steady. While others scramble, they know their next step. While others drown in details, they return to the essentials. This is not luck. It is training. It is Stoic focus. So ask yourself, am I spending my life on what is necessary? Or am I scattering it on what is urgent but empty? Your mind is limited. Your hours are finite. You cannot waste them on noise. To live stoically at work is to cut through distraction, to return again and again to what truly matters. Because clarity is not given, it is created. And in today's world, clarity is rare, which makes it valuable, which makes it powerful. Focus is the modern armor of a Stoic, becoming unbreakable at work. Unbreakable does not mean untouched. It does not mean you never feel stress. It does not mean you never feel pain. To be unbreakable is to remain yourself in the face of pressure. To feel the weight, but not lose your shape. To be pressed, but not destroyed. The Stoics knew that pain is part of life. Work will bring frustration. People will bring conflict. Circumstances will bring setbacks. The goal is not to avoid these. The goal is to endure them without losing your center. How do we practice this at work? Through 3 disciplines. The first is voluntary discomfort. Do not always choose the easy path. Do not avoid the difficult meeting. Do not hide from the challenging project. Do not shrink from the demanding client. Step into them. Choose discomfort as training, because when you choose it, it no longer surprises you. It no longer breaks you. Seneca advised his students to practice hardship while life was calm, to sleep on the ground when a bed was available, to eat coarse food when fine meals were at hand, not to suffer, but to strengthen. At work, voluntary discomfort might mean taking responsibility no one else wants. It might mean presenting to the group when your voice shakes. It might mean facing criticism head-on instead of hiding in silence. Each time you choose discomfort, you expand your capacity. You become harder to break. The second discipline is reframing. How you describe pressure shapes how you endure it. Most people say, "This is unbearable." The Stoic says, "This is training." The words matter. The frame matters. A tight deadline can be torment, or it can be practice in focus. A harsh manager can be injustice, or training in patience. A failed project can be shame, or training in resilience. None of these are pleasant, but pleasant is not the goal. Strength is, clarity is, character is. Reframing is not lying to yourself. It is choosing the most useful truth. It is seeing every difficulty as material for growth. The third discipline is inner dignity. This is the posture of the unbreakable mind. When insulted, you do not lower yourself with rage. When criticized, you do not collapse into shame. When ignored, you do not beg for approval. You stand in dignity. You hold your inner measure. Because no comment can touch your worth. No judgment can rob your integrity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace." This is inner dignity. It does not mean arrogance. It does not mean pride. It means a quiet strength, a steady self-respect, even in the storm. When you practice these 3 discomfort, reframing, dignity, you become unbreakable. Not because the world grows softer, not because people grow kinder, but because you grow stronger. Picture this in the office. Others complain, but you focus. Others panic, but you breathe. Others fall into gossip, but you remain steady. You become a pillar, not by force, not by dominance, but by presence. The Stoic at work is the quiet center of gravity. Others look to them when chaos rises. Others anchor themselves in their calm, because stability is rare. And when it appears, people gather around it. To be unbreakable is not to be invincible. It is to be reliable. It is to be steady. It is to be whole when others fracture. This is the kind of strength every workplace needs. Not the loud strength of power, not the brittle strength of pride, but the silent strength of the unbreakable. So ask yourself, where can you step willingly into discomfort? What difficulty can you reframe as training? Where can you hold dignity instead of anger? Practice this, again and again, until others know, when pressure comes, you do not shatter. You hold. You endure. You remain. Unbreakable. Practical Stoic practices at work. Philosophy is not meant only for books. It is meant for practice. The Stoics measured wisdom not by words, but by habits. If you want to live stoically at work, begin with small, daily acts. 5 practices. Simple, clear, powerful. First, morning silence. Give yourself 10 minutes without email, 10 minutes without messages, 10 minutes without noise. Begin with breath. Begin with stillness. This sets the tone for the day. You decide the pace, not your inbox. Second, negative visualization. Before you start, imagine one challenge that could come. A meeting gone wrong. A client angry. A project delayed. See it clearly. Accept it. When it arrives, you are steady. If it does not, you are grateful. Third, journaling. Write briefly before work. Not essays. Just a page. What matters today? What do I fear? What will I focus on? Putting words on paper clears the fog. It sharpens intention. It gives you direction before the chaos begins. Fourth, pause before you speak. At work, words move fast. Reactions fly. Arguments escalate. The Stoic pauses. 3 seconds. 1 breath. Then words. This small act saves you from regret. It protects dignity. It turns conflict into clarity. Fifth, evening reflection. Before leaving work, ask, what did I control well today? Maybe you held your temper. Maybe you stayed focused. Maybe you paused before reacting. This reflection seals the day. It builds awareness. It prepares you for tomorrow. 5 practices. 10 minutes of silence. 1 act of visualization. 1 page of journaling. 3 seconds of pause. 1 reflection at night. None of these require extra talent. None require new tools. Only discipline. Only choice. But together, they change how you meet pressure. They train your mind to see clearly. They train your heart to stay steady. They build the habit of calm, focus, and strength. Try them for 1 week. Notice how the day feels lighter. Notice how pressure loses its edge. Notice how you stand taller, not in arrogance, but in clarity. Because philosophy becomes real only when lived. These practices make Stoicism more than words. They make it armor. They make it action. And when you return to work tomorrow, you will carry tools no one can take away. The Stoic challenge. Pressure will not leave you. It is part of the workplace. It is part of life. Emails will not slow down. Deadlines will not disappear. Bosses will not always be kind. Colleagues will not always be fair. This is the reality. To wish otherwise is to live in frustration. To deny it is to live in illusion. The Stoics faced storms larger than ours, yet they did not ask for a calmer sea. They trained to become stronger sailors. This is your challenge, not to hope for easier work, not to wait for gentler managers, but to build an unshakable mind in the middle of the storm. Remember this truth. Pressure itself cannot break you. It only reveals you. It exposes the habits you have trained. It tests the clarity you have built. It shows whether you stand or whether you fall. And the training is not hidden. It is in the daily moments you often overlook. The pause before you answer the sharp email. The breath before you respond to criticism. The decision to return to what is essential, while others scatter into noise. These are not small acts. They are bricks in the fortress of your mind. They are the quiet foundation of an unbreakable life. So take one situation now. One stress at work that has been weighing on you. Name it clearly. It could be a project that overwhelms you. A colleague who tests your patience. A boss whose words unsettle you. Do not try to escape it. Do not curse it. See it for what it is. Then, apply one Stoic practice today. 10 minutes of silence before the day begins. 1 act of negative visualization before a meeting. 1 short page of journaling to clear your thoughts. 3 seconds of pause before you speak. 1 reflection before you end your day. Start with 1. Live it, not just hear it. Because Stoicism is not theory. It is training. It is a way of meeting pressure with strength instead of fear. Every office storm can be your training ground if you let it. The challenge is simple, but not easy. To face the storm with calm. To answer pressure with clarity. To hold dignity when others lose theirs. This is not about perfection. Even the Stoics stumbled. Even emperors lost patience. What mattered was that they returned, again and again, to the discipline of the mind, to the fortress within. You can do the same, not by becoming someone else, but by becoming fully yourself, steady, focused, unbroken. And so we end here with a declaration, not for the world, but for you. The Stoic at work is not the loudest voice in the room. He is not the one with no struggles. He is the one who remains calm, focused, and unbreakable under pressure. This can be you, if you choose it, if you train it, if you live it. The storm will come again tomorrow. Step into it and stand